Savita, Savi.
Yes.
So how are the flow? Do
Okay.
we have Q&A sessions?
Should I stop recording first and then after when he come then I record?
Okay. Okay.
Hi, sir.
Hello.
Hi. Okay. So before I start off, I would like to remind you that we are recording this session for our case study purposes so that we can refer it back. So I would like to introduce myself first. I am Savita Munyandi from Management and Science University. I'm taking bachelor's in international business, and this is one of my team member. My lecturer is not here yet. I think she'll join in later. So hi, sir. Hold on.
Yep.
Okay, so we would like you to introduce yourself. What is your position, and a little bit about the company overview first.
Okay. So okay. So my name is Clement. I'm basically holding the business development manager position for Synergy Worldwide Forwarding, and this company has been in the market for 21 years already, ever since 2002, and it's a family business. And we are also specializing in the custom brokerage, which means that we are dealing direct with the customs as we have our own forwarding license. And we also not only do custom brokerage, we also do some freight services as well. We also do some local transport services, pretty much like a total logistics lah, I would say. So we are still ongoing in this market, and we are still pushing through lah for this year. Yeah.
Okay, so the second question is, what is the extent of your global network and the regions that you have covered?
So the network that we cover is basically worldwide and also within Malaysia as well. If we are talking about Malaysia, because we have partners from Penang, partners from Pasir Gudang, partners from everywhere around Malaysia. And then as for the global international wise, because we also join some freight forwarding international networks, which comprises of many agents around the world. So we have quite a lot of connections worldwide as well.
Okay, the third question is, how do you establish partnerships and collaborations with other logistics providers globally?
So in this case, as I mentioned, is that we are actually in a freight forwarding network. So we mostly do collaborations with other forwarding agents worldwide. So whatever the request from the shippers, the consignees, we will basically collaborate together and find a solution for the customers. And also we got some networks through referrals as well, like the vendors that we have, most of them are from referrals. So if you're talking about us looking one by one from other places in Malaysia, not so much, but we mostly rely on network and referrals.
Okay, can you share any examples of successful logistics solutions or projects that you have done, sir?
I can only share one, which is the one of the biggest ones that we know, which means shipping 40 containers, big ones, the what's it called? They call it the mini houses. So we actually have done this recently, I think around July. And this is a major project where it was supposed to ship these 40 containers out to Australia. So we rely on like networks and also referrals from the vendors who can supply the trucks, who can supply the containers, who also can supply the loading, unloading services um from end to end. So this is the one of the major projects that this was lasted, I think, about 1 month, 1 month project. So it was a pretty long project for us.
Okay, moving on to the next part is the industry trends. So, how do you think education and work experience will shape your attitude? Sorry, this is the wrong question. What are the previous and current trends that you have seen in the logistics industry?
Okay, based on experience, previously everything was done through manual by means of phone calls or even, I mean, emails was last time it was still available, but it was not used so much. But nowadays, they are more reliant on emails and also online or even through WhatsApp messaging system. So currently now it's more of a fast-paced than the slow use of the technology. Yeah, so a lot of technology is currently being used.
Okay, what are the challenges in the freight forwarding industry? Like, have you faced any events or incidents, like generally and also through your company?
I would say that in general would be the rules and regulations from the customs and also the shipping industry, because there's a lot of rules have been changed every single year. So it's quite hard to keep up with the technology and also keep up with the rules being set by the customs. Sometimes the old rules may not applicable be at this time due to some changes in the trend, changes in the regulations, changes due to some issues happen because of various issues happen. Like for example, the whole the whole shipping the whole vessel itself, for example, it was stuck at the Suez Canal thing. It was just one of the examples that changes the complexion of the shipping, which also affected the freight forwarding side as well. So that is one of the examples. At the same time, also because all the shipping lines are starting to use the technology, so we have to keep up we have to use the technology as well to keep up with the services to the customer. So a lot of challenges being set. That is why you see a lot of people who are quite young actually step into the industry because they would need to know more about the technology in the freight forwarding industry.
How about your company, sir? Did it face any challenges in the freight forwarding industry?
Yes, because again, the technology. Last time it was pretty manual. We just sent emails to like the shipping line to vendors. Now it's more to you have to use the website system to keep the updated keep things updated, I would say, in terms of the shipping and everything. And also because of the rules and regulations from the customs, because every time the customs will change their rules, so there is a lot of changes that we need to follow, and we some of us may need to re-study the course to get the license, to get the forwarding license renewed. So there's a lot of processes for us every single time there's a change.
Okay, so how do you handle the coordination of shipments from the origin to the destination?
Um, the of course you need to first know what is the expectation of the customer and find out what is the required timeline and deadline that they have. So first of all, we need to know what is the transit time, and also the timeline given, and also the cut-offs being given. Understanding these timelines and the deadlines will give us a rough estimation on how we can plan and coordinate with the suppliers or even the vendors and everything. So if you're talking about understanding the coordination and everything, it's more to everything be done by messaging, by WhatsApp, by emails and everything. There's a lot of communication involved in a daily basis. So phone calls not so much, but emails is getting more and more. Yes.
Okay, so what are the strategies that you employ to optimize the transportation routes and modes?
First of all, we have to understand the cargo details first, because you need to know the cargo details in order to see how you can meet the customer's requirements. Like for example, if let's say the cargo is just like a normal cargo, then we can basically try to give the best transit time, best schedule that possible to ensure that the cargo arrives at probably on time, and also knowing the cut-offs being given by the vendors and everything, so that the customer is able to plan on this. At the same time, if let's say you're dealing with sensitive cargoes like frozen goods or dangerous goods, strict timeline was given to the vendors and the suppliers, so we have to be very careful on this one. But they also do suggest some of the optimization of the transportation to ensure that the goods can be arrived in a safe manner, because you're dealing with sensitive goods, so they have to send the goods in a safest manner.
Okay, moving on to the next question. Could you describe the processes involved in freight forwarding, like the import and the export? Like, if there's any like diagram that you can explain on?
There is no diagram, but I can just roughly describe how this freight forwarding, the process of import and export goes. So let's say you're talking about export. Okay, starting from the top. Export is basically exporting goods. So the first thing you need to know is that you need to have the commercial invoice, the packing list documents, so that you know what are the documents required to ship the goods out to Malaysia. Out from Malaysia, sorry. Then at the same time, you have to book for the vessel space. Book for the vessel space with the shipping line, because the shipping line owns the vessel, so you have to book the vessel with them. Book the space on the vessel. After booking, then you are required to send the shipping instructions to the shipping line, so that they would know what are the goods involved and what are the who do they need to consign this cargo to, and what are the requirements needed to ship these goods out. And then finally, it's getting the bill of lading. Bill of lading is like a contract, the final contract to the customer, so that they can receive the cargo at the final destination. Okay, that is basically that is the whole simplified export process. Then you're talking about the import process wise. Import process will be, first of all, you will need to get the bill of lading. Again, yeah, from the exports, right? Just now I explained to you. Now you come about import, so you get the bill of lading from your, let's say, from your customer, and then you also need the commercial invoice packing list, which I mentioned earlier. Then you will need to do the declaration, the customs declaration. So customs declaration, which means that in Malaysia they call it K1 form. So they will need this to draft it out. Then they will need to pay the import duty or import tax if it's required. Then after paying the import duty, import tax, then the cargo can be released from the container, from the port, and then released to the customer. Then the container from the shipping line will have to be returned back to the depot, respective depot, from the shipping line. Yeah. So this is basically the simplified process of the import.
Okay, so for the next question, what are the major challenges your company faces in the current market? I think you've already explained just now that you face the challenges in technology, in terms of technology. So how do you mitigate the challenges like technology and turn it into opportunities?
I would say that I would say understanding or I would say, yeah, mostly to understand the current strategies and technologies from other freight forwarders. Because in Malaysia we also do have associations for freight forwarders as well, meaning that all the freight forwarders will be able to share their what's called their strategies, share their inputs, share their ways to mitigate this issue. Some of them will be like, we are using this software to enhance our system efficiency, or even they actually have to know the person in charge in order to get this shipment moved, or even other various things that they can share as well in the network. So we are not working alone, we are also working with the associations in the market as well.
Okay, so we move on to the next question. The next one is on the regulatory compliance. So how do you ensure compliance with customs regulation and also the international trade laws?
For this one, it's more to understanding, I think, more or less, okay, because what our company does is that what we do is understanding the customs law. Basically in general, the employees will need to know what they need to deal with, what are the cargos they are dealing with, and how they need to do, or how they need to perform the declarations, because the customs law change time to time. So every time that they submit the what's it called, the draft documents to the customs will also tell us what is required. So we are doing the first layer of compliance. The second layer will be under the customs, because that will be the final check before they can release the goods. But that is for local Malaysia. But for international, it's basically how to deal whether what is the latest regulations internationally. Because different countries have different laws, so we have to keep in track with the other agents from time to time to see what is their new laws at the moment, to ensure that we follow their local laws as well.
So, can you provide any examples related to the compliance and like how you address them?
Okay, I would say I just give a simple example, like for example, importing of non-halal goods. Yeah, just a basic non-halal goods. So there's a lot of procedures being taken place. So we need to know what are the things that we need to look out for. Checklist. We need to have a checklist for sure. Checklist, like you need to have the markings, you need to have the full SIM, you need to have some form of certificate to import the goods, and then they will need to consult with the customs to find out what is other information that is required so that they can clear the goods. At the same time, also the officers, I would say the employees or the runners will need to have a good relationship with the customs, so that they will tell you more in detail to ensure that the goods can be released, and also following the compliance with the customs. Because we are an official forwarding agent, licensed forwarding agent, so we have to abide by the law to get the clearance as legally as possible.
So,
Yep.
what are your customs clearance procedures? Because like some companies, they might have a different ways to have their clearance procedures, right?
Okay. So I would say some companies might do differently, but in general, most of the companies would do the same thing, which means that you will first need to have the invoice and packing list. You will also need to provide the customs form from the customs, and send it over the draft to customers, so the customer can check one round first before submitting to the customs. If the customs informed us that there may be an inspection, then the runner will have to go and inspect together with the customs, so that the customs can approve this cargo to be released, or approve this cargo to be exported. So this is a very standard process, but I'm not sure about what other companies are doing. But this is basically the standard A to Z procedure for other freight forwarders in Malaysia.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next question. On this digitalization and usage of AI, so what role does technology play in your operations, particularly in terms of automation, tracking, and visibility?
So in terms of our operation, technology really does help us in ensuring there is a full, complete information in a timely manner. Because customers sometimes can be very very fussy on time. So we have to go to the website, look for some solutions, or look for ways to get the transit. What is the status of the shipment? So the technology does really help a lot in terms of getting all these details and provide the details to the customers in a fast and quick manner, instead of let the customer wait for like one day to get the answer. Yeah, so it does help a lot.
Is there any like recent technology innovation that your company has adopted, to make sure that your services are better?
Primarily first of all, the forwarding software, which a lot of companies, vendors of forwarding software are promoting, because technology has been changing, so we cannot stick to just like one software for like the rest of our life. So every change, the change is required to ensure that there is a smooth planning, and also there is a fast submission of the documents and updates in our system, to ensure that our office here will also have smooth efficiency of the process, and we can also focus more on what we need to do instead of what we need to key in inside the system.
So I think you've also described your technology and software system that you use also for the tracking and managing cargo. Is it possible that later we request like any document or like attachment that is related to your technology, if it's possible?
Okay, at the moment, I don't have a document, but the software name I can share is called QINET, QINET. Okay. It's a local made software in Malaysia. Perhaps you may want to Google it, because I'm not sure whether it exists or not, but it's locally made and is used by many freight forwarding companies in Malaysia.
Okay. Could you explain about the usage of AI like so far? Like how much has it impacted like on your company as well?
To be honest with you, we are not using AI at the moment. But if you talk about other companies, shipping companies, they are using AI to provide instant information, because they have the system everything in place. But for our company, we are still not at that automated level yet. Because we don't have the funds or the financials to actually do it, or even the system which is capable of doing so. So we are still relying on like manual manpower, emails, checking our websites and everything.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next part. So environmental sustainability, how does your company approach sustainability and environmental responsibility within the freight forwarding industry?
I would say that first of all, the less usage of trucks and materials for packings and transportations, because the previous time was like they use a lot of trucks which like having diesels or those kind of trucks, which is like not environmentally safe, or even the materials used for packing. Sometimes they use too many wood to do the packing, or even there's too much materials being used. So a lot of these materials will go to waste later on because you don't know whether they will be thrown away or maybe they will be recycled. We are not too sure. But we strive to use less materials for that. And lastly, because our office here, because we use quite a number of paper, so we are still striving on using less paper, to ensure that we can save some paper as well, to ensure environmental responsibility of ours in the company.
So like there's like famously now is like for each company they have to follow the SGD terms and rules and all of that. So what initiative have your company take in regards of SGD and like the Agenda 2030?
For this case, basically we have no idea. We are not using anything at the moment for any initiatives, but because this initiative just comes up to us because we feel like there is a need to do so. Just to add on as well, because we also recently joined a network which focuses on sustainability, so they share a lot of information on what sustainability is all about. In Europe they apply a lot, but in Malaysia it's not so much for us. So that is why we are not really like have a sort of rules or laws to follow to ensure that we follow the SDG, but it's more like we know what to do to ensure SGD, but it's not written on paper. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Moving on to the next part. Okay. So your future outlook. So what is your vision for the company, like for the future of company and the freight forwarding industry?
I would say to synergize the resources and also bring some satisfaction to the customers at every delivery to ensure that all the goods delivered on time. So it's merely just to synergize whatever resources that we have. Yep.
Okay. Is there like any upcoming projects or expansion that you would like to highlight, like recently for your company?
Currently that we are also starting our new warehouse. It's a 2 shop lot warehouse. So this will be a new expansion for us instead of like relying on third party warehouses, but we will have our own warehouse next year very soon. So once that is start up, then we can start moving our stuff or all the stuff from the customers to our warehouse for further arrangements.
Okay, so moving on to the last part of the session, what advice would you give to students or professionals who are interested in career in freight forwarding or logistics?
I would say that just ensure that you actually have the heart and passion and really wants to know about the logistics industry, because in logistics industry is a very challenging industry that happens 24/7 no matter what. So you will need to have the heart and the soul and passion to help the people to move their stuff in order to to strive in this career. Otherwise, it will be very difficult because this thing will always move and it will never die. Yeah. So just remember to have a heart and a passion for it.
Okay, so that is all from us. So thank you so much for joining our interview session.
No problem, no problem. Thanks so much for having me as well.
All right, so anything, I will text you, Lasa, for any
Can,
questions.
no problem.
Okay, thank you so much. Bye bye.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Let me stop recording first.
Yeah, stop, right? Stop recording, right?
Yeah.